Well, thank you to my friend, Senator Booker, and to all who are gathered to watch this very, very important vigil. And the question that I'm going to ask in slow motion to give you a chance to think of a response.
God bless you.
Is a question that was inspired by your colloquy with Senator Coons, where you guys were
not a colloquy, that's not allowed. It was a question.
You were discussion, where you were doing some Bible quoting back and forth. And as you know, I'm a big Bible reader. And the thing I thought about, and actually I've thought about it during your talk since last night, is this part of the Gospel of Matthew where he's challenging people that he thinks are hypocrites. And he says to them, you can discern the faces of the sky, but you can't discern the signs of the times.
Wow.
That's Matthew 16, 2 and 3. You can discern the faces of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. The way I view this vigil that you have been powerfully engaged upon is you are attempting to discern and explain the signs of the times to your colleagues and to our country, and that's very important that we do. And I'd like to ask you one question about the signs of the times economically to follow the discussion of what we're seeing. But then I want to ask you a question about the signs of the times more in the nature of our democracy. So to begin on the economy, you walked through how strong the economy was on the day this president was inaugurated. And 2 months later, the challenges of a volatile stock market, the challenges of rising prices, the challenges of declining consumer confidence, the challenges of predictions that there might be slow growth or even a recession. We will have a vote on the Senate floor tomorrow about Canadian tariffs based on a resolution that I've introduced that we will have a vote on. You talked at length about those tariffs and the effect that they have on Americans, as Mr. President and others. As I've traveled around my Commonwealth, my farmers and my small businesses, they've seen it before. They saw it in Trump term 1. They know how dangerous it will be. They don't want to pay more for groceries. They don't want to pay more for building supplies. Farmers don't want to pay more for fertilizer. My shipyards don't want to pay more for aluminum and steel. They were promised that they would pay less, not pay more. They don't want to be part of a campaign to demonize a nation that has been a friend of the United States and stood side by side with us in every war since the War of 1812. They don't want to be part of a juvenile assertion by this president that sovereign nation is the 51st state. They don't want to be part of a name-calling effort to call the prime minister of a sovereign nation governor. They're trying to read the signs of the times. Why is this administration that came in with such a strong economic hand doing so much so quickly to both hurt us economically, but also to tarnish a relationship that has stood the test of time with an ally? The president often says that his goal is America first. We would all agree as members of this body in America first, but we would all passionately disagree with America alone. What is America alone going to get us? What will we turn to? Who will we turn to when the allies that we've spent decades building relationships with now feel pushed aside? Yesterday, China announced that they were going to be working with Japan and Korea on a free trade zone, possibly to respond to U.S. tariffs. Other nations are having to engage in hedging behaviors because they thought we were friends, and now they doubt that reality anymore. And so as you look at the signs of these economic times, and then I'll get to a second question about the signs of the times in our democracy, how are we to understand this? And more importantly, how are we best to rectify it? How can we stand up for our families and reduce their burdens, not increase them? How can we stand shoulder to shoulder with linked arms with our allies to face off against adversaries? Reflect on the signs of the times and point us in the right direction. Please, question mark.
I appreciate that. I'm going to try to keep it short.